Like we live. Alright, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to DeBrief. We're just gonna take a minute so that you guys can share the link to the persons that want to tune in to this topic that we're gonna be talking about trans in education.
Yeah, man.
So just give us a few seconds. Let's share the link and we will be starting pretty shortly.
Thank you, bro. Good afternoon, Barbados.
Yeah, and today we have
Yeah,
hosted
bro.
with me is Jeremy, the Manny Paris Small. I keep
Oh,
that
the
out
Man
there. The
Paris
Manny
Paris
Small. Next to him would be Jermaine Beckford, myself, Kimar Safri, and we have Simon
Ali. Yes, man.
Yeah,
Ali.
I said we'll be discussing trans in education today.
Yeah.
A very big topic. You know, I have to tell these young boys, put your phone on silent.
Don't
But
worry,
yeah.
phone ain't on silent right now. We just basically.
But
want
they
to
shared
send
out the link because there are persons that are definitely waiting for this conversation to happen, and we are happy to bring this conversation
Oh,
to
yeah.
Barbados. We'll be
It's true.
talking about things that are really interested to everyone. So we really want to bring it to the press the one with the four. Kieran, press the four thing. Yeah.
Correct.
So right, so just give us a few seconds. Plus, we want Barbados to tune in as well.
Yeah, man.
So we're giving people some numbers we're waiting for some numbers as well to tune in to us as we start this show. All right.
Yeah, we want to encourage discussion and we want
If you want
questions.
the share button, just hit my
feedback.
share button there, please, and share it to my page. Yes, please share it to me personally. Go up to my timeline. So we just want to share. Obviously, we are dealing with technology, so we have to share to the public.
That's
all right,
right.
and so that people could see and join in for sure.
One more people that have the shirt on, then
One more person.
Yeah.
One more person.
We're just waiting for a number, and today we're going to be discussing trans in education. Now,
Mhm.
we definitely want everybody to tune in with us, talk with us, talk about everything that's going on. Jeremy, put your phone on silent, please.
Sure. Sorry.
Right? So that we can get everybody's feedback. We definitely will be reading out what you say. So if you want to be a bit part of it, again, please give us your feedback.
That's right.
Please give us your questions, your queries, your concern, and we will be sharing them live with everybody. Because we were discussing a very sensitive topic today,
Yep.
trans in education, as we mentioned, and this is a very important topic. We're hearing things going on about what's going on, especially with this topic as it relates to the female. The child being a boy but recognized as a female
Mhm.
by the mother.
Female.
A female, even though the child was born a boy. So that's a very hot topic to talk about. And as I said, we are just here to moderate this conversation. We're here
Right.
to delve into it, and we do want you to get it. But just an overview on DeBrief. Now, DeBrief is going to be coming to you every Wednesday and Saturday. It's a live stream show that we have here in Barbados that we decided to just bring together. It's basically like a chat room discussion
Yeah.
that we thought to just bring out live, and we are here. We'll be having guests. But we thought for the first couple of shows, we just show who the moderators are, who the hosts are, and that we can have some enlightening conversation. Now, we're not the traditional talk show. We
No.
are rockers. We talk over each other. We just straight off the top. We got some people here. You may know some of our faces. We have different political backgrounds. We have different religious background. We have different fields. We're all different in different companies, entrepreneurs,
That's
charity, banking, education. So we are discussing so much things, and we are all different persons that share from different views. So we want you to engage in us. We want you to share the link with your people. We are discussing trans in education, especially this topic as it relates to transgenders in the education system, and if it is a thing that we need to look at, if it is a thing that we acknowledge. Now, we asked as well, since we are live on live stream, if you are dropping in volume, if there is any buffering, please let
Send
us
a
know
message.
on the page, and we are picking it up live, so we will let you know, and we will fix any technical glitches that you may be out there. So join us. I think we are ready, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm ready.
We're ready. The man,
Yeah,
we're ready.
Money ready?
Yeah. So
I see people saying how you
and you see people loving it and stuff like that. We thank you. We can
Nice to
we
see
can
you.
see you as well.
Eileen Clark.
Yeah, you can
Nice to
see.
see you.
Hi everybody.
Yeah,
Thank
everyone.
you. Now, moderating with me on the show today is on my right, I don't even know the guy in the black shirt over there. That's the
Mr.
man.
Small.
The man is small.
Mr. Small.
Yes.
You just go the money, you know.
The money. Yes. A young entrepreneur and guy that is care about the people as well. Has a big heart for what he does. Building businesses. So guy have my own heart. Then we have Jermaine Beckford, a financial guy.
Mr.
Mr. Objective. You can call him Mr. Objective
I'm
for the
very
show.
objective.
Very objective.
His objective is to be objective.
I maintain opinions which I believe in.
Right.
I do not drink any form of Kool-Aid than this bottle of
Bottle
water.
water.
Aye.
Yeah.
See that clear water? That is what you drink.
Yeah.
I am transparent and you can see right through me.
Correct. And then we have myself, Kimar Safri, entrepreneur as well, more the social entrepreneur side as well as very well know me with the homeless. We have Mr. Simon Ali, also a teacher, a comedian,
And a teacher.
and a teacher. I don't know how that get in the same topic. Teacher and
Make
a
students
And a soon to be politician.
and an aspiring politician. I should say he's already a
comedian
politician.
and a comedian politician.
A
yeah?
comedian politician. So this is one politician you can laugh at. Right? We have a technical guy, Kieran Henry. You're not going to see him, but he's a technical guy. So we can't have only technical guy.
It's true.
All right? Any questions on there? Okay, so again, Barbados, we're asking you to put up any questions that we're going to be discussing transit and education.
We got some from Bahamas.
Someone from Bahamas in
So-
the chat.
We got some.
Someone from Bahamas.
Hey, we got someone from Bahamas. You know, our heart goes up with you, Bahamas. We
Real
know
talk.
what's going on in your country, and we just want to say that, you know, our deep sympathy here in Barbados, and we are going to be doing something on Sunday. So let's highlight that for sure.
Yes.
On Sunday, we are doing
Telethon.
a media telethon with all the media houses in Barbados are going to be coming together to do this huge thing for Bahamas. Now we want Barbados to pledge. The Prime Minister has said it.
Pledges,
Everybody's on board. So it's not a political thing, but it is a country thing. And
Yes,
they ask
yes.
that everybody give. They asking for monetary funding. You can come here at CBC and you'll be able to give checks. You'll be able to give
Cash.
You can also
cash.
swipe your card.
You can also swipe your
Swipe.
card. So Barbados, support this mediathon that is
Give
coming out this
generously.
Sunday. I think it's from 3 o'clock all the way to 10.
Yeah, to the
You
10,
need
yeah.
to support it, and all the other people out there are other organizations out there who are doing something to collect something.
That's right.
On behalf of somebody, for Bahamas, sorry, we need your support. Do not sit there and think, oh, it ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't got a family over there. Please, it could have been us.
Could have been us,
We were
boy.
spared by the grace of God. And we just ask that you support this mediathon coming out Sunday, right? We want your support. They need your support, correct? So
Yeah,
that is it.
Our Caribbean brothers and
All
sisters.
Caribbean, one Caribbean people. No, let's delve into this topic that we're discussing, trans in education. No, guys, this has been such a huge topic. We've heard the mother from Canada who wants to put her son into a particular private school in Barbados.
That's right.
And the son is identified as a girl in her, to her and her family basically. But she wants that the education system respect that, or this particular school respect that this child is a girl and not
Transgender.
a boy. So it's a transgender, and she wants that the child wear the school uniform of the female of the girls within the school. And obviously has spiked a lot of conversation in Barbados, and no one has thought to brought it to TV but us. Yeah,
So we first.
so that's good. And then we have this now where the Minister of Education have also allowed the school to take its own course. As a private school, it has its own, it can mandate its own rules and
That's it.
regulations. It's not a public school where the government takes control, but it's a private school.
That's right.
Now, this is obviously something that is being looked at, is being Barbadians are speaking about it. What then can we, or what is the feedback then from you guys as it relates to this issue? Barbados, we want to hear your feedback as it relates to this issue. Share the link, please share the link so people can watch. And also, we want your feedback to put it online to say what your feedback are or what your thoughts are as it relates to having this child in the system recognized as a transgender within that school. The man you want to start off?
Before we go any further, I think we should, for others that may not know, let us first define what is being transgender. So we can then go from there.
If you want to define it, go ahead.
Alright, based upon doing a search.
Google search.
Yeah, hold on, just give me a second.
Right, so the man is just
Being transgender was defined as people have a gender identity or gender expression that differs from their assigned sex. Some transgender people who desire medical assistance to transition from one sex to another identify as transsexual. Well,
break that down for us. What I lay my terms.
So basically, it's saying a man or boy thinks that they should be a girl or a woman, and they dress to suit the part. The other way around, it could be either a girl or a woman. Using the bathroom, I can't dress like a girl. I am a boy because I have a penis, and use the female bathroom because they know me as a boy before.
Last time you were a boy.
So we will have issues, and I mean, do we really want these kind of issues in school? Do we really want these kind of issues interrupting the flow of education that what the school setting is all about?
I think even that I'm a lot of jump in here. I was giving a lot of thought because at the end of the day, I'm not too aware of the age of the little boy. I think
He's 14 years old.
he's 14. Okay,
Yeah.
he's 14. So
Yeah.
he would have probably gone through puberty and so on. Hopefully, he would have probably gone through puberty. And what I'm saying is that the time of puberty is a serious time of hormonal changes and so on in the child. And what I'm saying as well is that what may be a situation where he or the parent might be fully convinced that the child is transitioning. We are not too sure if the child is actually in a stage of exploration or discovering more about himself, because you will find sometimes among younger children it would appear that gender can be a bit fluid. Sometimes a boy might play with girl toys or whatever, or might wear nail polish or whatever, or a girl might go through a phase where she might be tomboyish. That's at the real younger age. So my argument then really is that we have to be careful with regards to just saying wholesale, all right, my child is exhibiting some of the behaviors as if he or she is transitioning. Because we have to be careful, because unless you as the parent would have gone for any kind of consultation with a psychologist or medically, you have to be careful not to jump too quickly to say, okay, yes, this child is transitioning and becoming from male to female.
Isn't this the time where the parent now jumps in and would lead the child in a direction? Now, it all goes to the fact of what the parent also believes in. Because, for example, if your child comes home with marijuana or is legal or come home with a gun, you can tell them where you get this thing from. These things are legal. Get it out of the house. So what he's saying, whereas my 15, 16, 17-year-old child, boy child, want to dress up and put on makeup and dress like a girl, I can tell you, but okay, not here. I mean, the time for him to experiment with these things when he was, little small, we growing up, we play with dollies or whatever, giving. But at this age, you don't intend to be that way at this time.
Can I jump in here a little bit?
Go ahead.
My whole take on this situation. Let's be real. There are a lot of people in Barbados who are putting a lot of emotion into this issue. But we cannot address this issue emotionally.
Be logical.
Right? We have to be logical. We have also to recognize that we tell children every day that we want them to be honest. Because we talk about an honest society. And if honestly the little boy, well, I'm not going to say boy because he does not, the one. Number two, the school, in my view, ought to accommodate that child. If the child wants to be identified as a girl, then you allow the child to identify as a girl. Because the reality is that you might try to say to the child, no, I want you to conform to this society because, but at the age of 18 or 16 when the child comes out of school, the child will still go back to conforming to what he or she believes that is true to themselves. And this whole debate, a lot of people equate this debate to the gay agenda and all that. The honest truth is that the world has changed.
Don't jump from there. Don't jump from there yet, Jeremy, because one of the things that could be challenging here, and I think Simon and Demani alluded to it. You're having a child who came to school last term as a boy.
Yeah.
And this term, the mother wants the child. She also said that she wanted the child to be a girl last year, but unfortunately it didn't happen. This year she wants the child dressed in the female clothing.
Beautiful.
Now here's the thing.
Hold on.
Now here's the thing. You have, let's say, 200 children within that school.
Yeah.
That you're still responsible for the confusion it will cause in those little minds.
Kimara, which is bigger to you? Confusing the little child, the other children, excuse me, confusing the other children in the school today by seeing a child coming in last term in pants and this term in a dress,
blouse and skirt.
or wholesale, they call it wholesale, lying to the other 200 children in school and trying to convince them.
Oh, you like? Oh, you get like?
Okay, but I understand where you're coming from, but let me jump in here too.
Children.
Okay, stop.
I want to jump in here.
You learn to
Your
children.
mother was gonna lie, not me.
You learn to children. You learn to society.
Now, you lying because what's the definition of a boy? What's the definition of a girl?
What's
From
the
based on
definition?
what I know, a boy has a penis, a girl has a vagina. So
And
how you gonna tell me that we
so you
like?
confusing 200 over one.
But no, but you have to be true to yourself.
But you know
I
what?
agree,
One
but
of the biggest
I want to look at it from the
But
school aspect.
one of the biggest things that we never do as I realize in our society is we will want to show this into the school or show this person in the school, but we don't educate. So we are not going to go at her praise.
What
You're not going. You cannot just confuse the minds of these little children. In this form or this fashion, you have to go in the hall prayers or in small settings and say, hey guys,
focus groups and so on.
John, who was boy last year,
Yeah.
has identified himself as a girl this year, which we call transgender.
Yeah.
What is transgender?
You gotta explain that.
And
You gotta
explain
explain
it
it.
because you're not dealing with adults. It's not
Like
like
children.
You're not dealing with if your CEO walk in tomorrow, he's a boy, and tomorrow he's a woman. That's fine.
Right.
Because he's a big Harvard man, you gotta understand it different. But you're
Right.
dealing with confused mind. Mommy, I see James went to school last term. No, he's Gene this year.
But my whole thing is this.
But you know, well, hold on. Not the cut.
No, wait, stop. You
No.
hold on. Go somewhere.
When you finish, I will talk.
You sure? Sorry.
Of course, sir. When you finish, I'll talk.
This is very interesting. But I think one of the challenges that I have is this whole the demand of the mother and then the degradation of the schools, because the school, remember that schools have their own rules and regulations.
As it relates to private.
Yes.
Especially private schools, huh?
Yeah.
So let's say a private school has a Christian background. Let's say that the school might be, I don't know, a Catholic private school. You don't know.
Oh, yeah.
The reality of it is that, hey, the school might say, well, these are what we stood for. These are the rules. When you came in the school, these were the rules.
You sign off on the rules.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that I don't think that a school should be vilified. A school should not be shouldn't be vilified if they're not deviating from the set rules and procedures that they had in place before.
But
so for the parent,
but
this is to the parent too. Don't necessarily see this as a situation where, and even those in the trans community, this is not a situation where people are saying we want to deny the rights of the child. What we're saying is this: well, look, if at this particular school, which has these set of rules, that there may be a bit of a challenge. Because the school, they can say, well, look, we want your child to come to the school, we want to teach your child, but not as a transgender.
But we did hear also that they're saying that the school was being accommodative. So it seemed like the school did want to take steps to take work with the child, but it's like the mother probably wanted more. You understand?
I remember in our society,
but Germany is saying
you do recognize
that we should change the laws.
I'm not saying to change your laws. I'm saying to you.
But that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying to change your laws. I'm saying to you
For
that,
one child.
hold on, Damani.
Go ahead.
Hold on. I'm not saying to change your laws. I'm saying to you that we have to recognize that there are different types of children in the school system.
I agree.
As there will be different types of people in the world.
Society, I agree.
And in society, as you said, Simon. And if that child determines that he wants to be, look, if he comes to school tomorrow and say, Noah, I want to identify
There's a bigger picture than the child.
But no,
that's right.
But you when you say there's a bigger picture than the child, I agree.
Okay, so
but you're also lying to that child and other children by not recognizing what.
But
that
how can it be
No,
defined as a lie?
Oh, you are lying.
Hold on, stop.
You're lying to
So
them.
what about that child coming to school as based on what it have, penis or vagina, dressed that way? So hold on, stop. In my private institution, even public, and then in your own person, you could dress from I ain't changing my rules for you. And you're saying that we should change our rules for one child.
Probably
That's
next
wrong.
time you would say you can probably want bathroom for yourself.
I
Exactly.
am saying.
Oh, yeah, I guess I'm a transgender bathroom.
I am saying
Not
to you,
necessarily.
and I will be very straightforward with it. I am saying
I will go
to
probably
you
my child get in the
that
bathroom.
you have to accommodate
Which bathroom you
all
use?
children.
Which bathroom
I
you
agree.
use?
Okay.
But education, let's go back.
Which bathroom you use?
Jermaine,
But every
Jermaine.
identifies as a girl using female
But Jermaine,
bathrooms.
but even before we get to that, one of the things too is that, as I said earlier, and that's why I'm glad to be discussing this now, this is a teachable moment.
Yeah.
This is a real teachable moment, not only for the school, but for society. And addressing the whole issue of transgender in society, in the workplace, and so on. I mean, for a child, of course, in a school setting, you're not going to necessarily get, depending on the school that you're at, you're not going to necessarily get all the things that you want.
Yeah.
And I think the parent would have been agitated, but they want more done. But remember, this is still kind of new in Barbados. It's still kind of new to the education system.
And it's a cultural thing.
Right. So of course in Canada, so like
It's
you said, there
accepted.
are a lot more like the Western countries are a lot
Progressive
more
and liberal.
and liberal. However, Barbados, as you know, we're still kind of conservative, and that's because of our Christian background. Although I'm not trying to say that Barbados is a whole Christian country, I'm not trying to say that. But clearly, if you have a Muslim school,
Yeah.
that won't be allowed in the Muslim school.
But Simon, you do recognize that
Yes,
this
please.
I've said before, the world has
Change.
changed.
I agree.
And it is continuously
but we
changing.
don't have
Listen,
Right.
you know what Days of Our Lives? Days of Our Lives was 1980 something. When you go online, it was
But even if you
But
upgrade-
even so, my thing is with you, right?
Uh-huh.
Is that yes, the world is moving in a certain,
But do we have to follow the word?
but we don't have to follow
We
the
don't follow
world.
the
You
word in
understand?
every
My thing is,
we have to respect people's human rights.
but it
I
is
agree.
not. It's
I
a
agree.
human right.
But you go,
Yes, it is.
We have
It is
a
a
right
human
to
right.
return to.
transgender rights have now become
yeah, I
human
agree.
rights.
I agree. I agree.
But here what
I agree
I'm
with
saying
that.
is, the reason why I asked if it's a human right, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right, you are looking to still a human right doesn't mean that you have to follow it within your country. You know, it's just rights across the world.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, each country has its rights to implement laws accordingly. It's not
Yeah.
something
But-
we
but-
said. But when you're trying, as I go again, when you're trying to force.
You're not forcing anything, you know.
No, it is forced because
The
when you
parent-
put when
the
you're
parent.
forced,
It come across as the
when
parent
you're
is trying
when
to
you're
push it.
it's
Because-
and it comes across as a bullying because you're taking the school to task.
Yeah.
You're lambasting the school. I mean, I was hearing about this thing on BBC News, eh?
Yeah,
That's
it's gone.
how
It's
far
gone. It's
it
gone
has
across the
gone.
world.
Yeah. So I'm just saying is you're get a school that has been known to have a reputation of
Excellence.
excellence.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're taking this school to task where you're challenging this school internationally on the fact that you want your child to be in a system and it must accommodate you by your rules. No,
yeah,
based on what
yeah.
the minister said, it seems that the school have been accommodated. Why can't you meet the school halfway?
I agree.
If they're accommodating you and your child,
Yeah.
meet them halfway.
Right.
There's sometimes that I realize, especially when some people come into your country, and it happens
come on their
sometimes
own
good. They want to come on their own footing. And they expect if them kick the bucket overseas, they say kick the bucket
Bucket
here
here,
too.
true.
But we're not that type of cultural
Society,
people
not
or
that
societal people. So at the end of the day, if I know that I can't, if I'm going into a government place and they say, well, look, you can't come in with more shirt, but I can let you in with the slippers if you get a shirt.
Oh, right.
I don't run and get a shirt.
Exactly.
Because
but Jermaine,
it's conduct.
I think what has people is, and that is what I want to really explore. Is a situation where the child was totally denied access to education at the school?
But
It
you
doesn't
know,
seem so.
But
It
you're
doesn't
but,
seem
but,
so.
by refusing to allow the child to come in
It
and
did
being
not. It
truthful.
was meeting the child at halfway.
Hold on, no. You see, this is where me and you will have a conflict. Because I am saying to you that you are asking that child to lie
Not to live out the
him
truth, not to live out
or
the truth.
herself.
Not to
Now,
live out
the
their
reality
truth.
So therefore,
you're like last
the
year.
child supposed to lie to the other 500 children in the school.
Yeah, like last year.
But when you try to convince,
Jermaine, they did the child like last year.
but this is a new year. You want to be truthful. Yeah,
I love it.
The
I love
reality is, look, I know.
Wait, let me get, hold on, Barbie, our viewers, sorry.
Any
We have
questions?
viewers in Bahamas, we were told earlier, we know we have some viewers. Please say where you're from. again, we're discussing trans in education. Please feel free to share your views. We want to hear you. We definitely want to hear you. Again, we're here with Manny and Jermaine, Kimar, and Simon. But we want to hear your views.
A question. I can change it up a little bit.
Right.
Let's say we allow the child to dress how it wants to dress.
Fair enough.
The opposite sex. What happens? A child at 14.
Yeah.
You know, basically secondary school 11 and up. You know what you have to know.
What?
It can be up front. He was a boy last year.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean targeted?
No, you can't use that word on this program.
But you gotta be real. You gotta be real.
Okay.
You gotta use that word.
And that's a derogatory
No,
word.
you're dealing with teenagers. This is not what happened.
But wait, think of it as I say.
People's
I
words.
agree. Jermaine been saying on Jermaine, but let him finish his thought.
I will say that you have
I
to
agree.
respect
We
your
can
words.
get to that, but let him say his
The
piece.
child will get lambasted.
Put a plug in it. You know that.
Adolescents.
You know that.
Teenagers, you get lambasted.
You know that was the numbers person was saying. Put him in some of those rural schools. Or her in some of those rural schools.
Yeah.
No, you're looking at schools that come from a certain district.
Yeah,
certain
social
yeah.
economic
At the end of
background.
the day, right? I said this to somebody one time. If that child is at home and that child dresses, we're going to use this term, the boy child at home dresses as a girl.
Yeah.
Is acceptable to the environment that the child is in.
Yeah.
Listen.
But that child may not be confused because the environment makes the child feel inclusive and makes the child feel acceptable.
Yeah.
Right.
When you take that child out of that comfort zone, and let's say quote unquote put him into one of those schools,
Yeah.
where now nobody ain't inclusive or acceptable to that behavior. So then you start to get that term, and the child now start to really see what confusion start, because he could run home or she could run home and say, "Mommy,
You go walk to school?
why I was at school and somebody called me a B word or C word or
or
whatever,"
D word,
and you
right.
said, "Well, what you as a parent can really tell that child, because that culture is not acceptable."
But- and that's-
Hold on, Simon.
Go ahead.
I will say this, right? You see what adding to what you said, right, Kimar? You were saying that the culture is not acceptable in Barbados, and I accept that.
Within the context of
right?
school.
Not only within the context of
No,
school.
I talk about within the context of school.
Within the context of school, the culture is not acceptable.
We know
right?
what society is saying, alright?
But the reality is, and I will
Professor?
be.
We got some
We have a
comments
question?
from, we got some comment from Troy, Prince,
Read it,
Antonio.
read it, Kieran. We are technical guys, gonna just read it to us.
Okay. The school has the rules and the rules schools. If the parent
Want the child to wear a dress.
when the child leaves school, he can wear whatever he wants to be.
I agree with that. I agree with that to some extent. But my whole argument really was that I just wanted to know for sure that the school was not denying that child's right to access to education. Because regardless if the child is
What about
disabled.
homeschooling? What about homeschooling?
Right.
What should the child be homeschooled?
But that's
I
an
mean,
option.
that was an
If
option
that's
for
an
some
option
religion.
too. That's an option.
No.
That's an option. I mean, even in public schools,
What's
you
wrong
have
with the
the
child being
option of
homeschooled?
homeschool too
There's
as well.
nothing wrong with child being homeschooled, but
That's an option.
But I will maintain, and I will continue to maintain it to my damn breath,
Go ahead,
that
Julian.
if the child identifies as a girl and he or she decides that they want to come out in society dressed up in a dress and a wig or whatever,
Agreed.
we in society are because remember, the reason why this debate, no one has actually asked the children in the school what their thoughts are.
They can't.
No,
They
they
can't.
can't.
The-
But the children don't run to school.
But I agree.
And you can't
But
put children
the
in
whole, it is the adults, and this is the confusing thing for me, right? On one hand, you have adults in this country telling people you have to be inclusive. You got to accommodate somebody.
True.
You got to
That's a
recognize
mindset,
that
that's a
different
mindset.
people do this. I remember there once was an Anglican priest who even gave his views on homosexuality and transgender rights and all that sort of
And
stuff.
sex too as well.
Right? So, you know, different people in society, you got one set of people telling you this, but then when the reality hits you in the face and you realize that, you know what, there are different people that will want to do different things, all of a sudden you want to retreat into a corner because you
I
don't
would
want
say-
it to be any
I
wrong.
don't think
No, I don't think it was that.
No,
Jermaine,
no.
no, Jermaine, it wasn't that. I think it is how the mother of the child brought the case.
How was she to
But did it? But
She's
hold
a
on.
mother, she's
Did,
looking
but
best for
didn't
her
she
child.
get
Yes.
what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Just again, alleged.
I agree.
Didn't it? Wasn't it said
But-
that the mother also find placement for the school, the child in other schools, but yet the mother sticking the gun that they need to obviously show the school a lesson by petitioning up to 500, you already have 200 from what I've been told.
Mm-hmm.
So let's link the school now to all the way to BBC and all the way to whoever is going to
You're not linking school, you know. All you're doing.
why did you stop? If you don't get, listen, I always say this here. There's the rules. Listen, you cannot force whatever it is or your beliefs or what upon people. That is why the Muslims have a Muslim school.
That's it.
Because they know that you can't go to school within secondary
Christian school.
Christians and even though we're a Christian society, there's still Christian secondary school.
Try me some
Try again?
Yeah.
No, it's not. They are saying the school will use the girl name, but he has to dress as a boy.
Oh.
We will be opening the gate to some things that we really don't want to tackle.
So we're afraid. We're afraid.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think it's about ready. I think it's about being. Sorry, the whole thing about a teachable moment, and this is the start. I'm quite sure that other programs, whether it is even on our TV, on TV8, may tackle this kind of issue.
It has to be tackled.
It has to be tackled, but
what we want to know is what Jermaine.
I will say these students in life, they're different individuals.
Fair enough.
One, because someone presented themselves one way last year, this is the way how they are presenting themselves this year. For me, the premise of life is honesty.
Fair enough. About your own truth.
Yeah, and it is a reality. You must be able to look directly at a child.
But Jermaine, you think that you think by giving that
this is what it is.
I know you think by giving that poo statement to a child,
it's
that's gonna make. You think that's gonna make.
I'm not gonna.
You're talking about
a teenager.
You're talking about fragile mind in those schools. You're talking about adult development. You can't go say, oh, well, you have to be acceptable. And it's today's society when you look at the children, how more aggressive they are.
Yeah, very aggressive.
Listen,
to bully
you may as an adult, you may be more receptive to certain things. Children are open-minded because if they see certain things, they call them a cat and a dog. I don't care what school you go to.
But you know we have to teach our children right from the beginning.
It's a teachable moment.
Exactly, teach it right. For example, when it was coming here with all that, we were going, so they're going to talk or whatever, and we discussing transgender. She was like, what's transgender? I explained to her what it is. A boy won't just a girl, just like a boy. She was like, but why would somebody want to do that?
Right, but you see,
how much can you teach about that?
True. But guys,
we have another question here.
Levi Kinch.
We enjoy your comments. Thank you for all your comments.
Lexi Kinch. This needs to be a part of a bigger, deeper discussion regarding gender, dysmorphia, Bishop GD. We don't acknowledge these issues in the Caribbean context. There is distress and other factors involved for a child. So what would be the solution going forward? GD has to be analyzed.
I agree.
So that is gender dysmorphia.
One of the things I made a comment to.
Thank you, Lexi.
One of the things I made a comment to earlier, I said that this country needs to start to have those conversations.
We do.
Sooner rather than later, as it relates to this LGBTQ, transgender, all of this. We need to start to have this discussion at the highest level.
Of course.
We can't wait till we are pressed, because you know that we are also being pressed on the international bar to respond. I think 3 more weeks as it relates to the case that was brought against Barbados on the international market. I don't know if you all regarding the transgender girl wanted to remove the boundary law. So, so that is that we cannot wait till we are pressed by the international to be reactive more than proactive. So one of the things that we have to look at as a country is that, are we going to start to have the conversation so that if there's referendum or if there's any voting or whatever, people informed, because we need to start to say, yes, we are for it or we're not for, are we against it as a country. Not just as a subgroups or whatever, but speaking at it as a definitive position as a country to say, we are not. Whether or not people see people and say, oh, well, we're going to accept it. We can't just have a one-shot talk. It has to be that the country gets to this and set up committees
and inform policy.
Start doing statistical data and stuff like that, so that when as Lexi has those questions or whoever, that we can say the country is not moving to that. We can see Brexit and all of those. you bring reforms and you bring votes and give the people a chance to speak
Correct.
collectively.
So if you're saying that you can do the referendums and all that, and people so the country moving to that, and
Or the country is
right,
moving
or the
towards.
country is moving,
You never
and
know.
it is the right of citizens to decide what they want for their country.
Yeah.
But we also must recognize that people have rights.
Of course.
The majority has rights, just as
The
the
minority
minority
does.
has
I
rights.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
but
And
we've seen it.
we must not live in a society where we promote this form of, I like homophobia
No, man,
and all
you
that
do not
stuff.
push
We have to
homophobia.
recognize that there are different types of people,
I agree.
right? And you know what? I will tell you unpopular view. If the child wants to be recognized as a girl, then who are we
But
to determine?
We are not
Germ-
determined. We are not
Germ-
determining
we're
whether
not
or not.
saying
We are not
that.
saying we're saying we don't want it within our
And
school
we
context.
can't push it.
And in terms of school context, we must recognize that there are different
We need
types
to
of
start
children.
school.
I agree. But
They're
Jermaine,
different
that's
types
not
of- if you want to be a
that's
girl,
not
it's
the
girl.
I agree.
That's
That's
your
not the
right.
argument.
A question-
From my
That's
angle, from my
your
angle, that's not the
A
argument.
question was posed to Jermaine specifically.
Nah.
The person said, ask he if a pedophile claims they're born that way, would he accept a pedophile?
No. What's our question?
Thank you very much. That must be a question.
I know.
Could Jerry please answer the viewer, please?
No, hold on.
That's different. You talk about criminal. I am sorry.
That's a criminal act now. So,
No, to you, but to me it isn't.
oh my god.
Because in some,
But no,
in some countries,
No, but it's still wrong.
yes,
But no,
it's wrong for us.
Let me respond. Let me
How-
respond. Let me
the
respond.
same way how
let me
being a
respond
boy
to the
because a girl
question.
is wrong,
I
it's
know.
wrong for us.
Okay, but I
Let-
don't want us
hold
to
on.
get.
Let me
Go ahead.
respond. Let me respond to the question
Nicely.
nicely, right? If a person comes up to me and says that they were born a pedophile, I'll tell them that's not possible.
As a learned behavior, you
Right?
think?
That's something you learn, and and whatever is learned in life
Is that
can
right?
be unlearned.
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela said that.
Okay.
Right?
We have a question
Comment.
coming. We have another question,
A comment,
Simon.
a comment.
With your extenders.
A comment.
I agree.
Oh,
with
comment,
you.
sorry.
I agree with you, Kimara. But the question is, are our religious leaders ready to have the discussions? I don't believe they are. The fact remains that the church still has a very powerful say. That's from Troy Prince Antonio Arthur.
All right. So
Thanks,
Troy, here's my view on the church. I realized that over the last couple of months, I've seen the church come out collectively, church leaders. I think that's the wrong approach.
Mm.
The church has to stop being reactive
And
Be
and
proactive.
be proactive.
I agree.
Now the church need to start to show the church strength. The
Mhm.
church is a very powerful state, you know.
Troy said that. Yep.
The
Troy's right.
churches in Barbados, I see the big pastors and the big name brand name pastors, they're coming up at table settings and they're getting all it, they're ready to fight the transgender or they're fighting. We're as a church, based on my views, we're not here to fight them.
Fighting nobody.
We have to find an approach or a balance to how we deal with things, and as Christians, we are going to stick by biblical
Principles,
principles.
correct.
And once you stay by that biblical principle, we are not shaken.
True.
Not my views, your views, the biblical
The word,
principle.
the word.
This is our view now
But
because we're
then-
talking our views.
But then they will say, but you won't push your biblical principles upon me.
yeah, but if
But
you,
the,
no,
but the state,
it's-
the state
it's-
is identified. Barbados is identified as a Christian country.
Yes.
Like how
Also,
Pakistan
this
is
is
a Christian.
identified as a religious country.
a very religious.
No, but it's
country.
Christian. The
More
Lord is-
Christian.
the
90,
more
I think
Christian
we are
than
93% Christian.
Yeah,
and
we
the rest is
are
other.
There are
identified.
a lot of Christians, but here, that is God one about
I
it.
agree.
but
If
that's
you
the
say
point.
to a
That's
Muslim
the
in a
point.
Muslim country, they would say that someone out there, you got the radical Muslims and so on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, go ahead.
But at the end of the day, after all this discussion, we still we need to see this as a teachable moment.
Yes.
And we can't have a situation where, and I think approach is always important. You can't come and push not necessarily the agenda, but your views on the institution. The institution can kind of push back, or it can be like a situation where,
A tug of war.
yeah, it can be a
And
tug of war.
that is what you
And we
been
don't want
seeing
that.
with the Christians versus the LGBT community. You press, I press.
There's no common
There's
ground.
no common ground. At
I
the
mean,
end
need
of
common
the day,
ground.
when I stand as a Christian, I stand as a Christian.
But-
I don't have to come and say, oh yeah, accept you, I ain't care what you say. It is not a war, you know.
But do
Should
you
not be
recognize
a
that
war.
people have rights?
No,
But that's it,
but
but
both
they
have
want-
rights.
yes,
We're
that's
talking
marriage,
about
they
a
have rights.
religious
We-
right
and-
versus somebody human right. But here's what I'm saying. If you find the common ground as it relates
Correct.
to both, if you have realized, right, and I don't know if anybody else realized with me, most of the LGBT when they push towards Christian. I don't hear them go wrong Muslims. They don't hear them go wrong Hindus. They don't hear them. They always go wrong Christians. But the reason why I see they go wrong the Christians because the Christians come back around to them. And with the aggressive push, we just, as I said, as Christian communities, we just need to stand our ground. If we are not in support of it, we say so and shut up. We don't need to battle and fight
and bash people. No.
Whatever the case may be. We know our ground, and then we educate our people on how to stand firm.
But you see the opinions that have come from here, even with regards to how we see it. Jermaine, your point is valid.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we talk about human rights, and human rights. That's why I asked first: is the school necessarily denying the right of the child to get an education, or is it that the school has certain standards or it has certain rules that will say, well, look, this is what we want to happen. This is how we accept our children. However, we may give a concession. I remember years ago, there was the talk, even with Rastafarian children going to school.
Yeah.
And
that was
some
a case.
Right, and some children were you're only allowed to go to school if you're wearing the tam on your hair. Now, the thing about it is that that's the school rule. The school say you got to wear the tam to keep the locks tidy and so on. But you're not denied. Right, and black hair too. You're not necessarily denied education if your hair doesn't have on the tam.
Yeah.
Like schools, you're gonna have a dress excuse. You will say, okay, well, I don't have my time today.
But
here's my dress
or some people that wear short pants, but they go wear long pants because they get mascara. But
rules.
Exactly.
Isn't the most important thing to actually let the child get the education? You see,
of course.
Other things,
but
it's
Jermaine,
I agree.
That is like a friend of mine said that is camouflage.
But no, you can't say that.
When that happens, when that happens and that child going to that school, and then it is being insulted by everyone else. How that child can feel he's not want to come back to school?
I would think, you know what I would say that child is brave.
Yeah.
The child is brave. And the child, and not only is he
brave, because
the child is brave and honest.
No, because
it's true.
Here's the case.
I understand that.
I can respect that.
We've not heard anything as it relates to this little boy. Now, at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, I tell me this same situation with this little child may say, I am going to go to school gay, or I'm going to go to school transgender. I just use a different one. I can go to transgender. I can go to school as a boy. I can go to school as a girl. When I get there, I get licks on top of licks, meaning words and all stuff, all other stuff, right? But I go home now, and say, mommy, this was what I was told. And your mother telling you, or your father telling you, boy, go back and pay down the environment, go along, use it, stand for what you believe. That child may not want to stand for what you believe in,
True.
But the parent can make it it's strong, but it may not be strong.
I see it as a parent supporting
it's support, but it does. But a lot of people in the States, and we check these suicidal rates around a lot of these young children, especially because of bullying. So you go into that environment, you can handle that.
True. But my whole thing is that, as I said, it has to be a teachable moment.
Yeah.
Where the school sits down and talks to the parents. Then from there, they have a discussion
with the
school. Because at the end of the day, it's just this one case with this particular private school. So it's up to them to decide how they're going to manage it, not to the detriment of the child or the rest of children that are at the school. So it has to be a situation where there is some kind of common ground. The child's right to education for white and the son for white red is not being denied.
Yeah.
All right. But you're saying more importantly, the child has to live out his truth, his or her truth, which I accept.
But going back,
the situation with the school environment may not allow for it. It's just like if a person might be in the military. In the U.S. military had, a lot of situations where they had the don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
So if you were gay, you could join the military, but the whole thing was don't ask, don't tell.
Well, let me do a flip side. Let me do a flip side to this here. I don't know if anybody studied this. Now, again, the school is pulling aside this here, or whatever the case may be, you're pushing aside this here. Have anybody thought that the school is a business?
Yeah.
Suppose now everybody heard about what's going on at the school, or the parents and things. It's a very small number, right? And I say to you, well, we got 200 children in here. You want to send one transgender, but 100 people come on and say, if you man enough to put he, she, whatever in here, we can take our child out of here. Anybody study that? Because it's a private school.
Business,
that thing. So anybody study that, and because the people gonna say, well, we can't close this school for one. And at the end of the day, because they're flip side to stories. You understand? Because if you are accepted, as one of our viewers just said, you are accepted in the fact that we'll call you by the girl name, but we can't allow you to dress in the thing.
clothing.
And obviously, no, you got men named Nikita and girls named Nikita. Obviously,
Right,
it's cool.
it's cool.
But if anybody said, well, look, the school said, well, we hear this, I said, no, but I didn't put my child up. I'm not sending my child to school with no children that gay didn't.
So
There could be a flip side. There could be an economic side.
so you put making money over people's human rights.
What- what-
What is the aim of business?
It was a hypothetical.
The aim of
thing,
a business
okay?
is to make a profit,
Or
right?
to
Alright.
However, a business must be willing to stand on principle.
But the
And
principle
if you're
is
not
in the
standing
rules.
on principle,
is in the
then
rules
really
of
and
school.
truly you
It's
are
in the
not fulfilling your mandate,
But
man.
the school is not a principle.
No,
It's
it's sorry, man. It's sorry.
Okay, what about when
Would you,
what
hold
about-
on,
what about-
would you allow, if you had, alright, you're a businessman.
Yeah.
If one of your employees came to you tomorrow and said, listen, Kimar, I feel like if I was a girl, and you know what? From tomorrow morning, I coming in here in a dress suit. You understand? You can tell the employee yes or no.
If it's a vet business, you can't come in there.
So you would discriminate just because of
Listen,
man.
I'm not
listen,
discriminating.
I clearly said, I didn't feel you was a girl coming out as a girl, but you was a man. I'm sorry. I feel that you should both be a man, act like a man, and you can
It
act
is
as
not
a
about your feelings, it is about
Okay,
But it's
my
not
friend,
like my business.
Okay.
Like my business.
Hold on,
Alright, hold
rights.
on. Bring back.
Okay, okay.
Uh-huh.
You see how you can ask, how you can say, as a pedophile you born, as a pedophile whatever, and you say
I
that
never
you're-
said that.
No, you're saying that is a behavior that
It's alert.
Yeah.
What about the same thing in regards to transgender or even being gay?
Well, be a specialist on that, but
I am not
some
specialist.
people argue, some people argue,
But
some
before you
people argue it's learned or it's
before you
nature or
continue,
nurture.
before you continue, to be serious though, if one of my staff had to come in and say that they recognize themselves as gay or transgender,
Go transgender.
I would accept it. The reason why, because that's an adult.
Adult, let's do
And
this.
that
So you just said that every
I was joking, I was
everybody
being
for
joking.
business that
I
they
was
have
being, I was just being
But as a bottom business, I surely will let them go.
but what I'm just saying for you is,
You are not. I'm sorry.
But hold
As a
on.
business, be able making money.
Yeah,
Well,
but
the
also
man-
don't
well,
respect people's rights.
listen,
Alright,
I
one at a
respect,
time,
I
guys.
respect your rights.
But hold on. What
But you're
what the man sees it as a
Workplace.
business, right? As for me, I have large staff compliments underneath my companies.
That's right.
And yes, there are people that I think within my company
Might
might be, and there are some that have spoken in the past.
Mhm.
I literally, and I have friends that are gay, and I got one day that I let this man born cool, calm, I can respect
You
him.
need your man?
Doesn't matter.
I can respect him. So,
Hold on. How this discussion get focused on me? Because I decide to stand up and take on the principle stand.
but I'm just
So
saying-
you see some society we live in.
No.
That if I don't conform to your beliefs,
No,
then
not
all of
make
a
you
sudden
conform.
I don't dare. You know what? I want to say up front. I am objective. I am looking at
Yes.
this issue in its real context.
I
I
swear
will
me.
not join anybody
But-
just because that the view is popular.
I agree, but you understand the principle behind what we're saying too as well, as it relates to the school.
Yeah, of
The
course. Both
school-
has to be respected.
because don't forget, it's not as if this child is a new entrance to the school, right? The child was already at the school. Certain rules will be applied to the school, even as it relates to school uniform in terms of performance, discipline, and so on.
And the parent would have agreed to these rules
Right.
before the child went to school as what
Mhm.
it is.
So the parent then,
He or she.
right? But as the
I
parent,
don't know what it
the
is,
parent,
but what
then,
you have in
the
your
parent
past.
and the school then
Foster.
listen. The parent and the principal or board of management of the school or whatever would have had the initial meeting to discuss the whole issue with the boy that is transitioning to be a girl.
Yes.
Alright.
And I do believe that some kind of concession would have been made.
It was because you could. But
However-
let's flip this conversation to the point where now,
Mhm.
if it had to, I've heard comments and I've seen comment when the minister spoke. That person were more saying that this is basically a conversation. 'Cause it may happen to the public school.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
then is the views that you think that as it relates to our public school? Now, our public schools are not like private schools.
No, they're not.
We quote unquote see private school as rich people.
A certain level of liberal,
Correct. Where
More so.
the public schools are just the most cross-section Barbados who I think would be, I think personally would be more aggressive
Yeah.
in the approach to this.
Yeah.
Second, and you can see, as I said, go back to our history, we are seeing how the children are behaving, especially on violence in schools
In schools,
before,
so.
right? But at the end of the day, what do you think now if it had to hit the secondary schools?
There would be a lot
Sorry,
more.
public schools, because with both primary and secondary.
There would be a lot of. There'd be some kind of policy and educational reform that will have to follow with that.
Yeah, but
because at the end of the day,
so you gotta look at policy and acceptance.
of course,
Because policy don't drive acceptance.
Exactly.
You know, in Barbados,
Exactly.
our policymakers like to hide behind a rock when it comes to making crucial decisions.
crucial decision. I agree.
Well,
But we were quite liberal. I mean, Barbados has progressed. We are getting there. But what I'm saying
You
is
get
that
in there, yiddies.
no, man, Barbados has progressed quite.
I think Barbados is-
even in terms of accessibility to children who are differently able. We have children. I mean, like Colombier, for example, you had students that were blind. We had students that had cerebral palsy.
I know some of them working in the supermarket.
Yeah, some pass.
I think Barbados is generally acceptance with education.
So you talking children that are
No, they're not necessarily talking.
really?
They're not talking.
Because I mean, when you look at what's happening in I don't want to spare the discussion, of course.
I agree.
But when you look at what is happening in schools in Barbados today, you can clearly see that governments have not really been doing what they're supposed to do in terms of standing up for all of the
You mean
children in
all-inclusive,
Barbados.
yeah.
And and you know, bringing this issue of trans rights in education, right? This is an issue that will force a government to actually take heed and
Would it?
Huh?
Would it?
Well, they have to.
No, I
Because-
mean it will put them on high alert that this may be a possibility within our country.
Correct.
So,
But
again, please
what it
feel
would
free
do?
to share
Yeah,
your comments.
questions.
Please
What
begin
will
your
happen?
questions.
What will happen? Which is good, Jermaine, is that there'll be more forums like this, but at a higher level. At
But
the
you know,
level of cabinet, at the level of the Ministry of
we
Education,
keep on
at the level.
talking. We keep on talking about higher level, right?
Yeah, 'cause
The only
you're the one
level we
policy-
need to worry about, in my view, is what the people of the general public says, right? So the general public, based on their interactions and discussions on this issue, will then inform the policymakers that this is the direction you have to
I
go.
don't think so, because don't forget the transgender and LGBTQ.
LGBTQ.
A lot of the persons that are speaking out about these topics
Mm-hmm.
are almost the same. And there are people that are in support of it.
Mhm.
Like yourself, Jermaine, that is now coming out.
Hold on.
Right? I'm just saying.
Hold on,
Let me-
Kimar.
I just let you- hold on. I know you're being objective. Hold on. Let me clear you off there. What I'm just saying is that when you have the same amount of people coming out, it doesn't mean that there's a large majority. Even though I believe in myself that there are people that are in support of what LGBT community and whatever free movement and love and all of this.
Yeah.
But what I think is that they're not willing to put the face to what is. So let's say this petition. Now she was able to garner 200 signatories or name for this year. Obviously, we don't even know if all coming from Barbados because she's Canadian.
That's right.
So they may be coming from Canada too.
That's right.
What I'm just saying is that there's not a lot of Barbadians
At the moment.
that can come out and say, yes, let the child go down to school unless they're from within that LGBTQ plus community. There are one or two people that I know that, yes, they're friends of the community and are not afraid to identify and say, yeah, let them go ahead and whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, they're small group. I don't even like the word minority, but they're small group.
Yeah, but
so just saying is, for it to be really taken seriously, Barbadians are not going to care if Canada, British, America acceptable of it. Our country has to speak from a larger majority than the same people. In addition to that, you find that, and you brought it to the core of the conversation in the beginning, when you said the word, emotion.
Yeah.
No, this because when this become a topic, this trend in education, the LGBTQ plus community could be using this as a, emotionally speaking, or some of them could even be jumping on it as a bandwagon to push this here. Nobody really stopped to look at two things. There's actually two things at play. The child's education, but also in certain people's opinion, the bullying of the mother, bullying of the mother in the school, even though she was getting what they wanted. Yeah, even though she get what partially what she wanted. So there's so much fears as it relates to this particular because we have to look at the student,
You gotta look at the
school and the children.
The children.
So
yeah.
how do we then
bring
it
a common
home
ground?
now? Find, but she did find a school. Obviously, we weren't told what school because she, based on the article I've read, it was said that the mother did find a school to accommodate the child. But at the end of the day, we're still putting a school here on the block because
tremendous
scrutiny internationally, and obviously for children, for a school that has such reputation and it attracts a lot of international students as well. So if I'm telling myself, if I'm a Canadian coming to Barbados,
I can't send my
I'm
child
not
to
sending my school that because that school sounds like it discriminates. If I'm a British coming to Barbados, that school is so it affects.
But it has to do with rules. I know that rules are meant to be changed and so on. But it has to do with standards as well.
But can the rules be changed, Simon, so swiftly without doing the right thing? Because at the end of the day, not just because you walk into my school today and say, hey, I want my transgender or my gay child to come in. So I go on to the thing. Those schools are run by boards. Those schools are even run by the parents that pay to go in. So again, a lot more has to be taken into consideration before you can just walk
just
your
mentioned
way.
about the parent being able to lead each other to what is right.
So you're going back to ethics and morality.
So Jermaine, you're now saying that it is right.
I never said it is right to be gay. I never said it's right to be transgender.
No, I'm asking you.
No, I am
is
telling
it right?
No, listen to me. Let me speak. I have never said that anything on this issue is right or wrong. Because I will not take a position.
Okay.
My position is, and I will maintain my position, is that people have an inalienable human rights.
Agreed.
And
but do you think in this case the child's right to education was barred from the school?
Yeah.
Which one you see higher?
Because you made a central part of the child accessing education that the child wear pants. And to me, that's like the issue so off.
Do you think? Let me flip it. Do you think? And all the viewers out there, join in with us so you could share your views and your comments. Do you think then that the school is denying the child the education or the mother? Because if the school was ready to accommodate you with certain things, and you as a mother want a 1 yard,
you pushing.
do you think the school is denying it,
or
denying the child or the mother?
That's a good point.
This is what I will say to you.
Good point.
No, I will.
This is what I say to you. The mother is trying to be a parent, a good parent at that too. And let me define that.
I don't.
Hold on. The mother is willing to tell her. Look, every child came to the mother and said, "Mommy, this is who I am. This is where I am." The mother says, "Well, I have to accept you however you are," right? And the mother is being truthful to that child, and the mother goes out there in society and fights for the rights of her child. And the school using, you're saying
fight for the rights of my child while they get an education. It ain't nothing to say that I would not have realized what they're doing. What they're trying to do, they fight for the rights.
Is there a right to be gay or a right to have to be transgender?
If it's a right,
is that a human right?
It is beginning to be equated like that.
No. Is it a human right? Yes or no?
I will not take a position on it.
But you're asking if it's a right?
Asking if it's a right.
I will not take a position on it.
This is what is
demanding.
Demanding, I think one of the things he's trying to say, whether you are transgender, you're gay or whatever, you have certain rights. You got the right to education, you got the right to healthcare. So in other words, that if the so I can understand in a way where he's coming from, because if you bring a child to the polyclinic that's sick, and the same child dressed up as a girl, it cannot be denied.
But that's not the question. You apply to my school to educate your child. Okay, you know what's going on with the child, right? You're handed, these are my rules.
Yeah. You decide,
okay, I sign on the dotted line after knowing the rules. You can't come and tell me now the next time you want me to change my rules for you.
But the question we got asked then, okay, I don't know if anybody, I don't know if anybody in the LGBTQ community is listening. I think too much time we want to fight.
True.
Right? For somebody to accept me who I'm black. I can't fight for somebody to accept me because I'm black. Now the question is, we see Muslims starting schools. We see the Hindu, all the groups. Why
Those
can't the transgender or the LGBTQ community go out and start a school? Because
they want it as their right.
No, because again, you cannot force what you are or who you are on people. So what I'm saying is, I don't see anything wrong with there being an LGBTQ community school in Barbados.
Right. You just don't want to see people.
But
you can't force your view. So that's your argument. So you see where his argument is.
You cannot come to my school. You cannot come to my school
and dictate to me the rules.
And dictate to me what the hell you want.
True.
I appreciate who you are or what you are. I appreciate it. But I have people that I know that, I said, close friends that I know that are gay. And I will go with them the same way. And I say to them straight, don't bring your gay behavior for me. Don't come and push yourself for me in no way. Don't come and squeeze my cheek in no way. No, because you're gonna be my friend. But don't enforce it. And here's what you say to them. I also say that I'm not gonna impose my Christian belief on you.
I can agree with
right,
that.
so everything around me and be playing.
I can agree with that.
You told Jermaine this?
Man, let the money, whatever.
There's a comment, Kieran, there's a comment or a question?
I agree with Kimar.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Misconfess brutal life?
No, yeah, because again, you have to have that balance. I will go with my gay friends. And there's some people that we know that probably we don't even know they're gay.
Correct.
But I'm just saying is, I'm a Christian. I'm not going to go and say,
don't push your views.
the Lord condemn you. I'm not going to. But don't come and tell me, Kimar, well, like you bad. No, because I can stand up for it. So I'm just saying is, just as it is with this, you have people that have their own views.
You hit your nail on your head.
Yeah, they have people with their views and they have their own beliefs and what's not. But I just say, you cannot walk both
and push your agenda.
And that was my biggest problem
Kimar,
with the LGBT community.
We have another comment.
Yeah, there's another comment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
from Keith.
Oh, that was it.
Alright, the key for Ellis Antrobus. Are the rules of the school published or made available prior to the application process? Or are the rules only made available once the individual is accepted as a student?
That's a very good point.
In most cases, if I know how these what you call make-up schools do, if you apply to the school, they give you the rules. Or in most cases, when you accept orientation, they give. I remember my child got accepted to a school, and I had to go at the orientation.
And they give you rules.
And they give me the rules. I got the application first, but they give me the rules and the orientation. And if you weren't too comfortable with the rules, you had a decision to make there and then.
Or you ask questions. I don't understand this. What does this mean?
But again, as I saying to people, my biggest problem with the LGBT community when I see it is that you're imposing too much. Around the world, you're imposing too much.
Yeah, you can't push
nothing wrong with what,
in
my opinion, if you want to be the way you are, happily be the way you are. You understand? Yes, there's societal laws that has to change, like buggery and stuff like that. But who the heck does know where you're buggering or whatever the hell it is?
Yeah, it's a private
thing. Apply to gay people because if you get buggering based on male or female, it's an
understand that. So
at the end of the day, you can't go. I don't want that when LGBT look at it, they singly look. They say, "Oh, if an LGBT man get catch with a gay man get catch with a gay man, and he haven't said he can get locked." It can happen with a man. If I decide to go and do a woman on the beach openly, but when and they get catch,
you get prison.
You get charged.
Yeah.
So many times I like to single out, and I always say, if you have your ways, I think the world is big enough for all of we to survive, but don't come. Yes, I understand that some want to be married and some want to be this and some want to that. But at the end of the day, I don't have the laws. I can't change the law on that.
True.
You understand?
This has been interesting. This is a real interesting discussion, boy.
Too much times I've seen that become a big issue that we force who we are on people. I remember when the statement was made a time back when they said, when one person, it was alleged that one person said, if the straight people in school could hold hands, why the gay people in school can't hold hands? And you should have seen the cocktail that came with that for that person, even from the said LGBT community. They like the same person because they too did not accept that, okay, you have to go in public and display public affection because somebody else is displaying it. So again, we have to be so careful
You know, it's
Maybe that's how they-
interesting, so right? When women display public affection for one another, and they declare that they are homosexuals or whatever it is, no one complains. But the issue only comes when there are two men.
I think people complain, but people generally not. People generally give more links to men than they. I don't think anybody's acceptable of either.
But that's different society.
I do not discriminate against anybody. If you could do whatever you want. You could be yourself. I will be very accepting of you. I will not be part of you because that is not my belief system. But my belief system also tells me that you have to be tolerant. And you know, you spoke about Christianity. The Bible said that the Lord is our Father. And when he said our, he didn't mean only straight people. He meant all of the people of the earth. Understand? So,
but do know, if you do not ask for forgiveness and you do not change your ways, accept God as the Lord and Savior,
and His ways,
regardless of if you being gay, regardless if you're having sex before marriage, you will be denied to be in heaven.
Are you a saint?
But will you?
Are you a saint?
But it doesn't matter.
Hold on. Are you a saint?
I believe in God. I ain't a saint. I believe in God.
But you pray asking for forgiveness. But
I understand.
But what you answer,
and I'm not going to profess to be one.
Would you?
I profess to be one.
You're not a saint.
Would you?
I say it, Augustine.
Would you be okay with a bisexual woman?
Apple will be okay with a bisexual woman.
More acceptable.
I will not respond to that comment on this to that question on this show either.
probably might have to drink a rubber coke and discuss this.
Probably.
But
I will not respond to that. He's trying to put me on the spot all the time, right?
Yeah, but he's
And you will not
sorry, you
get
have
me on the
another
spot.
comment here coming in. Just let me take this one here.
Junior David Waldron. What is the purpose of having my friend Jermaine on the panel when he refuses to have a position on anything? How is that helping the discussion? But Junior, he has the right to have a position or not on issues. It's still his right. Remember we talked about rights and human rights? Jermaine has the right.
I don't share the same. I think you should answer the question.
Right. But you know, we don't know if Jermaine swinging left or right.
Oh my God! Hold on. Junior, I will respond to you. We are having a discussion on transgender rights and transgender in against homosexuality. I am not for or against bisexuality. I am not for or against anything because I like to stand dead in the middle so that, you know, I necessarily don't get licked from either side. I am accepting of everybody.
There's another question.
Corey Worrell. Hi, Corey.
Mr. Worrell
It's
himself.
interesting Jermaine has an opinion on all things political though. Come on.
Corey don't really man like
So
that.
I
Corey
get
knows
licked
not
in
time for jobs. Come on.
Well, I realize that and listen, Corey, we must have you on this show. I must tell you, Corneo, we must have you on this show because we know you're a man that's very vocal out there. You say what you have to say. We need to get Mr. Worrell in here.
That's fine.
To say what he has to say. Right, Mr. Worrell, you can answer that because our question seems to be rolling.
Yes, good. Kiefer Ellis Antrobus. Jermaine does have a position. It appears to be the one of inclusiveness and it is quite refreshing. People like to pick and choose what is acceptable, sin, and what is not. Too much hypocrisy exists in this society.
I agree with you.
Yes, Kiefer, there you are.
agree with you.
Correct. But remember that the whole issue. Let's not get into the. I know that this would have become a morality issue. What we're looking at, What we're looking at is the first things I asked is, was the child denied access to education?
No,
in other words,
I would
if
say
the
no.
child pulls away from the particular private school it's at, would it be refused education in any school in Barbados? The answer is no.
Because
so the right to education is there.
It was not denied.
It was not denied.
I think, right, the child be more easily accepted in a school, whereas it goes to the school as a girl. F is allowed by the school, but to come into the school one term as one somebody and come as the next, the child get licks. Psychologically, I don't think the child be able to handle licks.
You don't know what licks the child can
But
handle.
psychologically, but we always come on. We think. I think psychologically.
You don't know what licks the
It
child
has
can
to.
handle.
He got penis. He can handle licks.
Listen,
Please, no,
it
man.
has to be
The
that.
money,
As I said,
seriously?
but-
Seriously, he
but-
got busy. He came out of that.
But the thing is with the money, the thing is
Call
with
it a
that,
male
right?
genitalia.
But here,
Alright, guys. Alright,
the thing is to come back on, right? The thing is that it's important.
Welcome out on.
This argument is not about one child.
That's right.
It's
not
about
one
the
child.
whole school population
Exactly.
within that school. So at the end of the day, we have to be cognizant of the fact that you're dealing with
right,
this
and
at a
also
much broader level.
but also the vilifying of the school for not totally, because the child, but the school said they would accept the child with some conditionalities.
And you
Why
have to
should there be
respect that.
conditions?
Well, the
But what
school has
should
its
it be?
own, but the school has its
Why
own,
should there be conditions?
because the school has its laws,
Why are you
not laws,
asking?
schools has
Why
its
are you
rules.
asking the child to lie? That's my issue.
No, I don't
Wait,
think, I
but,
don't think
asking
Jermaine,
that
I want,
child
Jermaine,
to
I want
lie.
you to define
No,
that line
the
for the
school-
viewers.
Yeah,
And
I
where is
don't
that
asking
line?
that child to lie.
Because
I
the
don't
child
has
is lying.
clearly indicated
that it more
that
leans
the
towards
child identifies
Different-
as a girl.
But
And every child, hold on, every child identifies as a girl and decides that she, and I will give the child that credit, that she wants to dress up in her girl's uniform and come to school
I was
and
told-
be honest
here's
with
what-
herself,
you wanna hear something?
and we should
I was
allow the
told,
child
I
to
was
come out.
told that a picture was circulated of the child,
Yeah.
and he was dressed like a boy.
But I got girls dressed
But
up
no,
as-
no, no.
Wait,
I'm
Jermaine,
saying,
Jermaine,
Jermaine,
just
saying.
Wait, Jermaine,
If the child-
Jermaine was a boy.
but no, but
What is defined as a boy?
with genitals. Or
Jermaine.
Why am I being put on the spot?
I asked you a question.
What is defined as a boy?
Yes.
I guess if you have
The
more
anatomy.
testosterone than.
Stop being technical.
But I have to be. You asked me a technical question, so you gotta give me.
Wait,
no,
Jermaine, stop. Jermaine, when you born, the doctors went and check your testosterone to find out if you're a boy.
They look and they tell your
Well,
mother.
I grew up
be
knowing
real.
I grew up knowing that I was a boy.
They saw you with a penis and 2 balls and say you're a boy. I'm being real.
Yes, it
And
is.
you
It's true.
you lying to the children in your school.
How are they
Your
children?
boy got a penis and 2 balls. He's a boy.
But the money.
They
You
call
being
it-
dishonest.
That's his view. That's his view. That's true. That is his view.
You being
And
dishonest.
you are also being dishonest to that child who also has rights.
No,
No,
you
but
being
the argument
dishonest
too-
to yourself. He need to
but-
put it out
Oh,
in
you're
the
dishonest
But
to
So
Jermaine,
he's the
Jermaine, the other
top of
argument,
the
but the
BSN
other
of
argument, the argument that Kimar also said is
Boy,
that, hey,
Jesus.
in the
So you bringing Jesus into this now?
Listen,
hold on,
We have a comment from the. Oh, sorry, that's the Minister of Education now joined.
Corey, what? No, Corey, well.
Corey
Yes.
World is saying, stop calling the child a she, Jermaine. The child is a boy. That's one aspect. But no, what I'm
Oh
saying.
my God.
But what I'm saying is this. I mean, we want to welcome Minister Bradshaw for actually watching this program. What we're saying, I mean, we've said this from the beginning. One of the things we wanted to ascertain is if the child's right to education was being denied.
And it is not.
And it's not
It's
being
not being
denied.
denied.
The child's access to education not being denied. So that whole issue of human rights, the right
Has
of
to,
the child.
has to be thrown out to the door.
Well, it's,
Because
yeah.
it was not denied
Right,
education.
right.
On that part.
Now the school, and the parent having a child in the school, but not at the school, that has certain rules or regulations or whatever governing how the school is supposed to operate or what is required or what is expected of students.
I understand.
All right. As you rightfully said, rules can be changed over time once they're discussed and there is a majority consensus.
But it must be given the time to change the rules. You cannot just abruptly walk in and say, you cannot just abruptly walk in and say, I want my child in a school setting and I want it to be this or be that. Get it
Right.
done today.
Hold on. I have a question.
You take a
I have a
bullying
question.
approach. You take a bullying approach.
I have a question. How many years will that child be 14 years old? One.
1 year.
How many
Whatever
years will
the
the child be
question is.
15?
One.
How many times in life will that child have to go to school? One time.
And how much time in life would that child got to be charged all in life? if it
Question.
wanted to be? So you can't
Question.
deny the fact.
Question.
It will still be a challenge.
If the child want to come to school and dress like a zebra, you can allow it?
Well, if it's fancy dress day at the school, that's fine.
No, the child say you feel like a zebra.
Or dress day.
You feel like a zebra. I walk
But-
to school
but
like
no.
a
But you
zebra.
make it mock for the
No, I'm serious.
I understand we
Every child wants
but we don't want, but we
you know?
don't want to realize it. We don't want to
You make it
realize
more
it.
for the issue.
But,
But sorry,
coming back to the issue again, right? I'm just saying that the whole conversation has to be looked at so much phases because
Phases, yeah.
you cannot just, Jeremy, for my one part, you can't just
That's
look at
fine.
one child.
Right.
Yeah.
It has to be that the school is looking at
All
every
children.
And changing the
aspect
policy.
of this,
Yeah.
and even if the school is willing to change the
Yes,
policy, if it is willing to accept the child by name,
Yeah.
I think that the mother, even though she will battle it, should put the child in the put the child in the system so that the child
work along with the school.
Work along with the school and hopefully get what you want from the system.
Get what you want.
But she knows she can live for a whole year. But here's what I'm saying. Well-educated other people in the school about the reason why she wants.
Sorry, we have to come here by Kevin Yard. Anastasia Yard here. Okay. When a 14-year-old girl decides that she is in love with an adult male or even a teen male, what do we say? Do we not decide that she is too young to know or too young to consent? How do we let this child determine with such finality at 14 to the point of going to school as a girl? Wow, that is a very
interesting question.
That's a very interesting question and also a very strong statement. So as you can see, the different comments are coming. My whole point is this: I am about inclusiveness, but the reality of it is that it has to be a process where there's a lot more debating and a lot more consensus has to be gained.
So you see, go back to them when they said that the conversation as it relates to this,
correct,
has to start taking place at the higher level, so that the reforms or whatever could start to look to policy. Policy could be taking place. Because yes, if it was pushed to the public school system, you would have to make some sort of decision as it relates to it.
Correct.
But policy would always take precedence over what we believe or not, because the policy
the group is still really an individual.
It is.
I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think that the response coming from the Minister of Education was sufficient?
I think it was, in my opinion.
I think that it is new territory that has to be charted. And before the minister could say anything, it would be wise, of course, to have counsel and to find out the depth of the situation.
Correct.
Because this is so far it would appear that it's an isolated incident
at a particular school
that does not fall
within the public sector.
That is a fall under the public school. Right. Yes. That's one aspect. But the other aspect too is this. The other aspect is that when you have a situation where the parent is, in a sense, vilifying the school.
I don't think parents vilifying school.
But it comes across as that.
Remember, your perception.
It's not perception.
But if it's in the media in England and in Canada, people say, "Wow, Barbados seems very."
You do realize that there's something called social media.
I agree.
News will spread.
I agree, but the story that goes up may not always. But the story that goes up may not always be the accurate one.
Correct.
And I think it's up to the school. I think the school also should issue their statement.
But I think the school will. But at the end of the day, remember. When you asked about the minister, at the end of it there, right?
Yeah.
The minister took a very neutral stance, in my opinion. She left it at the hands of where it started. And but it seems to me
everybody's going to go further.
But it seems to me that she's still making herself very knowing of what is going on. So at the end of the day, the minister then threw out the baby with the bathwater. But at the end of the day, that is a matter where she said it clearly. She can't go in there to regulate the people rules.
Correct.
And if the people rules are this, then you have to stick to rules. Because again, when we go back to the public schools, it's got some people that is coming to the public school that want to bully the system, you know.
That's right.
And as ministers, you gotta take a stand and say, listen, when they're bullying the system, especially as it relates to a lot of transfers. People go in there and say, well, when they give me a transfer, I can do good in it and all that. And that's why the minister was very strong on her position. But again, we're not talking on that topic. What I'm just saying is the stance that the ministers took at that time was important, and it was important not to jump anything. And it was important too that she spoke, because she spoke on well-being on tour. So now we have to wait now and let the people involved, because we're really hearing from your mother now, you know. We ain't really hearing from the school either. We're more hearing grapevine talk.
Correct.
Because
everybody has an opinion on it.
Everybody always has opinions.
The school has not said anything. The mother hasn't really said. Because if the mother wanted to really say something, I should be hearing some Facebook video. I should be seeing some sort of link on social media as it relates to her. The point is she's trying to get
I'm also sure that the media went to interfere with the same situation.
Correct.
She probably has said no.
Because,
Correct.
but,
But
but,
why should
what,
human
but what are
intervene
you
in
trying to
media?
accomplish? My thing is to Jeremy, what are you really trying to accomplish with 500 petition?
But are
What
you trying to
I'm
close
saying-
a school? My whole thing, are you
trying
trying
to
to
close-
close a school because the school, that's my whole thing.
I don't think she's trying to close the school
But
because the school doesn't
it
want to
appears-
accept.
it appears that she tried to-
doesn't want to accept her child.
But
right?
you get into school,
Right.
why not move
Hold
on and
hold
go to where
hold
you
on.
get in?
I think what she, I will say, I have said this previously,
I'm here.
and I'm going to say it again. The child is a brave child, and the
Of
mother
course.
is a brave mother. And this, as you said, Simon, this topic, what has happened now, opens up a discussion that
That's
needs
it.
Okay,
to
but I want to flip a
setting.
side.
And we need to understand that just as how this child is now coming and saying that I want to come to school
The mother
as a
said
girl,
that.
the mother said that, but the mother could only go based on what the child has told her.
Yeah.
Let's be
Watch your
fair.
names, fair
Right?
enough.
Mother
So
be
just-
sure could be saying, mommy, willing to go to school normal too.
Oh Lord, but
It could
but
be too.
but,
But there's also going to be a lot of behavior.
just as
Right.
how this situation has come up, if it does happen again in the Barbadian school system,
But
I don't
public-
want I
public
don't,
school
in the public or private,
Okay.
right? I don't want to know that we are again going to come down to emotion and morality
Not
and,
policy.
and not seek to address the real
So that is
issue
why
at
that is
hand.
why the conversation.
You have to
Listen,
address the issue.
I agree.
The conversation
You have to
and
address the issue. Everyone go forward.
remember the minister
Agreed.
did
Agreed,
identify
Jeremy.
that this is a conversation that need to be
Yeah,
had.
of course.
So it's not this. Yes, it has awakened Barbados, right? My thing is though, it has awakened Barbados to the fact that we need to have this conversation
Correct.
as it relates to transgenders or whatever between schools.
trans
But
in
it has
schools.
also put a negative stamp on this country because of the way the mother went about it.
And you got the media twisted.
And the way
The
they-
international
How would
media.
you go about it?
But no, but
Because you
Jermaine,
want to define how this woman's supposed to go and
I
stand
would,
up for
I
her
would listen.
son or
Okay,
daughter.
I
if it was in the
understand where
public,
you're
if it
coming
was in the
from.
public school, right?
Yeah.
Imagine then how our country would be looked
Well,
at because it's in the private school, it might be less of an impact.
Yeah.
But if it was in the public school, now our minister and our country,
The country look
would
in-
make a lot because this
negative.
mother, the mother to me, in my opinion,
Mhm.
willing to lick left and right, even though she got what she wanted from another institution, she's still willing to lick who she got to lick and go to wherever she got to make her point. My thing is, there's a point where we could say, let's stand down
I think
and let's look at it from a different
I-
angle.
I think the school being a private
Have-
school
have-
still
have-
has to make a public
Hold on.
statement.
I would make a public statement.
Have you ever
Yeah.
heard about anything being done in Barbados through using the bureaucracy of government?
Yes.
Because the government bureaucracy is
So,
you over.
I agree.
It is so slow.
But remember-
if she had
but
gone
remember
to
the
Ministry of
government-
Education and said, look, this is the situation that I'm facing, and I want your intervention in this, I can guarantee you that she and her issue would have been dismissed out of hand.
I'm
gonna say
nah,
I
it
can't
would be
agree with that.
far-fetched.
Can't say that.
No, it would be far-fetched to say that the minister at the end
I'm
of
not
the
saying
day,
the minister.
no, the
I'm saying
the
bureaucrats.
ministry still is a reflection of
Bureaucrats
the
in that ministry
ministry.
would not take her
Fair enough.
serious.
The ministry is a reflection on the minister. At the end of the day, remember, if the rules of the government is this,
Or the standard is this.
or the standards is this, yes, it will count. The let's say the bureaucracy will go and say, listen, you will need to go to the policy level, because the policy level now will have to change for that to thing, and the minister
but even before
can't
it
change
change-
policy without going cabinet or going
Correct.
to put these things
I
in.
agree.
that.
But even
So,
before it does all of that, even before it snowballs into all that, you still have to find out from the public, is this what you want?
correct, you can't
I
just.
Is
have
this
no problem with
what
that.
you want?
So you can't- it's a
And-
must.
and who knows,
it
by
comes
having
back
a
to my
discussion-
point, Mary said we need to have a referendum on it
Exactly.
eventually. in
Eventually.
Barbados.
But we need to have a bit more public awareness because we still, and I think eventually we need to reach out to those in the trans community and even have interview, even have a sit down like this.
Because
Invite them on the program.
more for
Invite them on the program.
more for me, I've over the years heard the trans community more lashing back or talking back, rather than having more talk shops or rather having more
Public education.
Public education.
We need
Don't
it.
wait till if I go up on TV and be respectful. If I go up on TV and say, this boy's a bullet, I hear then, oh, you can't talk.
I tell you, that word is a
Hold on,
discriminatory
hold on,
word.
But
hold
he gave
on,
a
I give him a
reference.
point. I give him a
He's
point.
drawing a reference.
And
He's
you
trying
go
to
and
do
you go and say Kimor, start calling people they say. Now, it cannot be just those approach we take as it relates to educating the people. It has to be putting out monthly talk shops, putting out educational workshops and explaining that okay, yes, we are this, we are that. But if you just reactive to every comment that talks about LGBTQ+, it's gonna be a problem because
True.
people gonna feel that wait, every time we're gonna talk, every time somebody open the door, it's a quarrel, it's an argument. People have to have the and the LGBT community still to have to respect that everybody does not appreciate the community.
So,
everybody does not appreciate
but Kimar, question for you know,
yes.
do you think for if not this next program or whenever, would you invite a member of the LGBTQ community on a program just to hear some views?
Yeah, I mean, if there's any listening, invite them.
We could invite Donya.
We get Donya.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Donya, it could be any person.
But if we bring someone from the LGBT community, we also have to bring someone from the other side.
Well, we don't want big conflict.
No.
Big
But no, you
conflict.
can bring a pastor.
But yeah,
No.
I would pass.
Let us have a representative of the LGBTQ community just to give their take on things. So, because you see, at the end of the day, we don't want to trivialize a person's lifestyle and life choices. But it's more demanding than just putting on a dress and say, okay, I feel like a girl or whatever. It's a biological, it's a psychological, it's physiological.
It's spiritual.
I agree.
Some will argue, yes, the man. Some will argue too, it's spiritual.
I agree.
Right? So it's more than. I'm sorry that we have 4 hours for this program.
Yeah, I mean,
we gotta wrap it up.
obviously this is a broad topic, Barbados, and our viewers. This is a really broad topic.
Viewers though.
We really gotta tell you, this show just started.
Yeah.
DeBrief, which is brought to you with the gentleman that you could be seeing here in the black shirt is Damani, Jermaine, myself, Kimar, and Simon.
Yes, please.
You could always drink a rum and coke we after. Alright? And just brought to you, and there's obviously conversation like these. What we thought of, just to give you educational background on the group, is this.
So you're privy to what we discussed.
So you're privy to what we discussed in chats and stuff like that. And we really wanted to.
The Barbados Government Information Service came
on. No, that's on mine. Alright, so we really wanted to bring this conversation real. We know that the trans education is a huge topic as it relates to what is being said, especially with the relation to the mother and the child wanting to be put in school in recognizing that the child is a boy, but
going towards
transitioning
that's
to a female. So we really wanted to bring this topic. The show is always about the viewers. The show is always about what the viewers have to say, and we moderate. Yeah. We just it's not a norm show. So yeah, you hear the cross talking and the quarreling and the big break. It's good because, as I said, it's a chat conversation coming out into a TV show and that kind of way. And we just love to have these conversations. Blowing up our phones every night. But
and we're grateful. Actually, we're grateful for this platform that we can actually
talk and discuss and stuff like that.
So we want to hear Barbados and your views.
Your views are really
because
important.
Your views are important.
So what we going don't know because we try to keep the show in an hour, but obviously
Lord, because people have things to do too.
Some of us. Right? All of us always have something to do. But we really want to thank the many views. And it's always blessed my heart to see when a politician takes time out to come and
I see here was on the ground.
Here was on the ground. And this is the on the ground. The brief is about debriefing topics.
Yes.
Bringing them to understandable levels that everybody can understand. Sometimes big words are called and words that you can't understand. Like my man over here, Mr. Jermaine calling whatever he called. But testosterone and all that. But we like to bring things down to earth and for you to recognize. And we will have many more people here that we would be interviewing, and we would love to interview the Minister of Education.
Of course.
She's watching still. On topics going forward and what's not. But we're going to interview everybody. So we're from different backgrounds, politically, religious-wise, business-wise, professional-wise, and we love the fact that we have a diverse group. Our camera guy and technical support, Kieran Henry at the back. Just keeping us on time and keep touching the watch. So what I'm going to do is just give us, if you have any last comments to put in, please put it in. I'm just going to give everybody a wind down. We love to give a wind down session.
Wind down, boy.
If also we want to mention, if you have a business that you want us to talk about for a couple of minutes or promote, we drink water, clear bottles.
Yeah,
but if you have a branded bottle that you want us product, if you have something to taste and you want us to taste it, we would love to highlight.
A service highlight.
We will do it. Just contact us via the show or leave a message in the inbox. We'll get back to you. So Damani, give us a couple of minutes of your way. Don't take on as it relates to trans education.
I just want to add though, it's appear that this particular topic was first asked for us to actually start the show with.
Yeah.
And then I have told the person, no, we're doing it on the Saturday, the second show.
Mm.
So I would like the viewers to post different topics that you would like us to speak about.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Definitely.
We will obviously look into it and see what is best for the show.
Mm.
And we will obviously do it like how we do now.
It's true.
I take my stand. I think the child should be granted the education, but I also think that the parent shall also abide to the rules and regulations of the
It's
school.
cool.
Point blank.
Jeremy?
I want to say thank you for everyone who took the time out today to watch us. In terms of everyone knows my position on this issue.
Tell us again.
I am not going to
Reiterate it
hide.
for us.
I'm not going to hide from it.
No, you don't have to.
The
Your position
child.
being in the middle.
Alright, sir. Let me talk. I give you your time. The child has a right to education.
That's right.
And we can
Fundamental.
acknowledge that the education of the child is not being compromised in any way. However, I think that Barbados needs to more or less have a national discussion, and we must be prepared as a nation to put our myopic views aside, take out the morality, take out the emotion, and let children and adults basically we have human rights. It is not my choice, it's not my right to judge you. That is a decision for the Almighty.
Fair enough.
Right? If you decide that that's what you want to do, our job is to more or less accommodate you within the context of the laws of Barbados. And once you do that, all the other emotional things that you bring into the discussion, remove them and just move on, because you see that emotion is what really destroys the argument.
Yeah.
So
The dialogue.
and the dialogue. Hold on,
You
the money.
mentioned human rights.
Hold on, the money. So I say, let the child come to school. If the child want to address the school, that's your right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
But you mentioned human rights, but I don't know all the human rights, but all human rights are actually right. Go ahead, Kimber.
Simon?
Okay, Mark.
Hey, and once again, we want to thank everyone for joining us. And for me, this discussion really is a teachable moment. It is for us now as a society to move just beyond the discussion, the armchair or couch discussion, to actually decide if the trans education is something that we as a country are open to, would want, or we don't want. Eventually it will get to that level, because I do expect that there will be other cases where so we have to decide from early, and I think it's really a discussion for policymakers, but it is important that sessions like these among people happen so that we can get a gauge of how society will accept that. However, I am not of the opinion of where a person may blacklist or try to push against the rules of an established school. You came to the school, you know the school has certain rules, and because you cannot necessarily get your way, you come across, and it comes across the international community, that Barbados has a problem with transgenders, students or so on in school, which may not necessarily be the case.
Right.
So
Do you agree that Barbados needs to liberalize itself?
I think we need to have a discussion and see what the society wants, because we might be the liberal ones in society, but the majority of society might be more conservative than liberal.
But you know,
discussion
conservative views don't really get you anywhere.
that is
It's
debatable.
debatable. Just want to say on my part, as it relates to this issue, the child was not denied the education,
No.
and this child is still going to be put up at some other school.
Yeah.
I think that the whole topic of trying to defame the school or making Barbados look bad is not something I support.
No, me neither.
And I hope it would cease, because at the end of the day, you want something, but it has to be done in a proper way.
Correct.
It cannot be done in a bullying way. It cannot be done overly aggressive. And we have to find grounds.
Common
I
ground.
know sometimes you have to speak publicly to get what you want to say across to people, and that is okay, because our way of going down social media is very heavy
Very
and
powerful.
stuff like that. But I think that it is a conversation, as everyone is agreeing, that we need to start to have with the higher powers that be, and we need to start looking at if we're going to go a referendum, I don't think that we should be in a place right now where we're being squeezed by international organizations to make decisions as it relates to our country. But I know that our leaders will do the right thing at the right time. But as I said, the time may be now rather than later to make a lot of decisions as it relates to these
These issues.
and these issues. Again, we just try to discuss the issues here on our show. We just try to show people our views, where we're coming from, and how we can debrief the topics and what's not. So we think we had a really
Good
session. We really had some really good views and really good strong comments and questions coming from you, the audience. We really want to discuss next week. I think we had it on our agenda too, to discuss crime and violence.
Oh yes.
So can we next week? That may be another hot topic that we may be discussing.
Oh yes.
Crime and violence within the context of school and what we're seeing
And
today.
society
In general. So join us for crime and violence as it relates to the
Crime
topic. But
and
if you have a topic, please free to
Message us.
Message us.
Yeah,
Let
please
me
do.
know. You know all of our faces. The man is small. Right here, Jeremy and Beckford. You have myself, Kimar Safri. You have Simon Aline. And we really want to continue this show. We think that we should be on a good footing. Again, if you have a small business or a business that you want to highlight, we like to drink and eat on the show. So bring us so we can taste some stuff as well. So again, if you want us to highlight your business and anything like that, we're just here to support whatever is going on. But we really want to thank you, Barbados, for supporting us, for viewing. Please share. Please like the DeBrief Talk Show page so you know when the shows are on.
Like and follow.
Like and follow us. Follow our personal pages if you want, so we can let you know when the shows are on. Because we have to post it about. Because we're live streaming.
Yeah.
We have to literally send it around. So if you like our pages and you share our page and you share our videos, then more people will come onto the page. And when we are live, they get more interaction faster. So we really want you to share, like, and follow, and then anything is possible from there. We want to say a pleasant good night and always stay true to DeBrief Talk Show. Have a good one.
Bye.
Have a
Thanks
good one.
guys. Bye.